Okay. How about that, security? Hugo and Lucida rose to their feet the moment I stepped into the council chambers. My journey from Morella had just concluded, and within hours of being back in Rizian soil, I was called for an internal security meeting. Good evening, Your Majesty. I'm glad you could join us. Lucida gave me a knowing smirk. Yes, thank you for coming on such short notice. Let's finish this promptly, shall we? I was going around the idea of auctioning some crown jewels for charity. I thought I'd check on them first. I considered the possibility of auctioning some crown jewels for charity. I prefer to inspect them before making my selections. I'm heading to the vault to inspect this crown jewels and determine which one would be ideal for auction. I'd like to unwind with the... Why? I don't understand why. There's so many options. What the hell? Okay, so they're asking, like, why? Okay. I got a performance by the Worcester Tabernacle Choir on my schedule this evening. Will be expedient as possible, Your Majesty. I said it may designate a seat at the head of the table. Well, proceed. Ego and Lucida took their respective seats, then they opened their folders in front of them. I did the same. What would you like to discuss first? Quickly scan the contents laid out before me. Okay, let's look at the Ziegel bombing. What happened? Unfortunately, no, the evidence on the possible suspects continues to be circumstantial at best. Very well. It's unfounded, naturally. I have no doubt they've been gunning Sumomina for some time now. The clear goal of dismantling them. Yes, however, we shouldn't dismiss the possibility of them actually being involved. Yeah, no. Enough. I must insist that we speak to each other with dignity and respect. Please. Let's continue. I seem to remember fingerprints being found at the scene of the crime. Clues unfortunately hit a dead end. Very well. That's unfortunate. Have we exhausted all details? Is there anything else you'd like to mention? That's the information I have. Okay, so how about border security? Border security. Oh yeah, so exciting. As we agreed upon Smolak, with Smolak, Rizia will embark on a joint anti-terrorist campaign, specifically regarding the Bluish Freedom Front and their sympathizers. About time something was finally done about them. I agree. For the sake of our own security, action had to be taken. My thoughts exactly. Get back to the point, while a deal has been reached, it won't go into effect until Smolak initiates the necessary steps, which we believe will happen soon. Because of this, we've already taken preliminary measures to prepare ourselves for the possibility that we're ready to hit the ground running should the steps occur. Such as ensuring our border guards have all the necessary resources at their disposal so that they may carry out their duties without hindrance. Makes sense. Collaborating with the Royal Navy to enhance their capabilities, patrolling our territorial waters, aimed at supporting vessels already engaged in these duties. They will be tasked with looking out for Bluish migrants trying to cross the Gulf of Mordia. I've never understood the rationale for what compels people to take such a risk. People have rock bottom, have nothing left to lose, they're more likely to take extreme measures. I respectfully disagree. In my experience, people react differently to adversity, many finding their inner strength and resilience to overcome even the toughest challenges. Well, they're migrants, not superheroes. There are more colorful words that you describe them, but I'll refrain now. Or the said topic. By perchance, one of our patrol vessels intercepted an overcrowded Bluish migrant ship crossing across the Gulf this morning. And they were lucky we did. Our investigative team found they had stayed out any longer, the ship would have been at real risk for sinking due to severe overcrowding. 500 plus asylum seekers are currently being processed at one of our migrant facilities. Good. It's good that they were intercepted in time. Certainly, but it's more important to consider the long-term solutions to prevent such situations. Well, we can't, like, put a wall. We can't, like, put a wall up on the river or whatever. Yes, how about Iza? What's happening in Iza, my darling? Managing the situation in Iza remains fraught with challenges. Your decision to elevate the status of Wesek population is certainly one of the Crown supporters in little whatever the heck it's called. Unfortunately, they've done little to curb detentions. In fact, it's emboldened migrants to openly defy the police. Still, I'm confident that with the help of the reinforcements you sent, Rico will restore order. She jumped in. I beg to differ, Your Grace. Duke Ricardo's use of the Central Police is part of the problem. Don't get me wrong, I believe the police are valuable to keeping peace in a city like Iza, but only if they serve with impartiality, which is decidedly not the case here. The Duke has basically been using the Central Police as an extension of Su Omina. It's no wonder there's still results. Why I'm not surprised. You must be mistaken. Rico is his fault, so he wouldn't cross the line into authoritarianism. His call for extreme measures. Sounds like the situation is far more dire than was being conveyed. The situation is serious, but not out of control. I remain convinced that the Central Police are not the right solution, at least not the way Duke Ricardus is deploying them. For better or worse, drugs are legal in Rizia now. Yet, the Central Police are still using the drug trade as a pretext to arrest migrants. Can we deny the black market still exists? Those using to sell drugs are mostly foreign origin. Once the prices of legal drugs come down, this won't be a problem. We just need more time. I stand by my assessment that unless some changes made, order in Iza will not improve on its own. Since His Majesty abolished the provincial police, we are unable to ask help from Brenes. But in any event, I think the obvious solution is a simple change in oversight from the Central Police. You'd like His Majesty to place reinforcements under your command, I suppose? Well, yes. Allowing my department to take over law enforcement will leave the Duke free to focus on his other governing duties. How effectively can he govern after we publicly stripped him of authority? I like the idea. Perhaps if a grown-up took reins. What makes you think you will succeed where he failed? Your Majesty, look at my track record of the Duchess of Monte Clara. I know a thing or two about restoring order. I have no doubts on your ability to handle the situation, Duchess Cesaro, but my son must be given a chance. If his subjects regard him as powerless, all will be lost. The problem I see it lies with the police in general, not with who's controlling them. And with withdrawing the reinforcements I sent, Rico's control of the Central Police needs to end. From now on, we'll maintain the status quo. I'm confident in the ability of the Central Police and those of Rico. Maybe we're approaching this all wrong. We ought to explore alternative solutions that don't rely on law enforcement and security measures. Taking away reinforcement sounds like a bad idea if we're not going to be pursuing alternate pathways for this. I'll just continue the course. I have no doubt that he'll do better. Very well. Because I can't remove Rico too easily. I'm concerned about Hugo. He's a close ally of mine, and I don't want to alienate him. Not necessarily, anyway. Right? 2 pieces of news. Royal Herald officially endorses Rizia National Coalition in provincial elections. Oh, yeah. And we have tragedy strikes as migrant ship capsizes in Gulf of Moria. Well, shame. RPP turns Iza into a sea of yellow. Ah, I see. Okay, so they're trying to win here. Obviously. Not really a surprise there, now is it? RNC kicks off election campaign. Oh yeah. An evening at the palace. On the palace balcony, I sought refuge from the relentless affairs of state. The grandeur of the night sky spread before me, stars punctuating the obsidian expanse like celestial jewels. And the city's distant lights shimmered in a testament to life continuing beyond the palace walls. Amid this tranquil backdrop, I found a brief respite from the responsibilities that weighed on my shoulders. It was during this peaceful interlude that Titus, the steadfast captain of the Golden Guard, approached. His presence on the balcony hinted at an urgent matter, a reminder that, as a monarch, even moments of solitude could be fleeting. Good evening, Your Majesty. To what do I owe this pleasure? I'm here to discuss the personal matter you asked me to look into. Oh, my. The murder. In that case, let me know. Allow me to begin by stating I've made significant headway into identifying potential culprits. So I was correct in believing that my father's untimely end was no accident. Yes, sir, that appears to be the case, and I believe I've narrowed it down to a handful of possible suspects. Who then? Titus looked around discreetly as if making sure no one else was with us. My initial list of suspects comprised of 4 individuals: Lucida Zaro, Brian Wiseman, Ignatius, your uncle, and your mother. My mother would not do that. I hope you've narrowed it down from there. Yes, that's what I'm here to talk about. A few of these individuals now strike me as particularly suspicious. Well then, explain. Starting with who? My uncle. He saw Hugo leave my father's room at the night of his death with his own eyes, just moments before his body was discovered. In addition, there were other collaborating witnesses who can back me up. The account is accurate. Is that all? It doesn't. Yeah, it's true. It doesn't mean that he killed him. In my opinion, such behavior is enough to warrant further scrutiny. That's fair. Seeing how accusing the Grand Vizier of murder would create quite a stir, I wanted to tell you this before I spoke to him. I don't think he would do that. That just doesn't seem like a sensible thing to do. The two were close. I need to be cold hard facts before jumping to conclusions. Okay, what about my mother? Your mother was notably absent from the council on a specific night. Then where was she? Turns out she was attending a religious ceremony service just outside the capital. It wasn't Ruristic, it was Dasnurst. I am. One of the Golden Guards who was assigned to protect her confirmed it. What is that? I mean, why would she do that? That's weird. I have a hard time relying solely on that. I understand how unsettling this may be, especially since this contradicts the official state religion of Rurishism. However, this information is reliable. The guardsman who was with her, one of my most dependable subordinates. Oh shit. It's not a joke. Considering her apparent zeal with Dasnurdi as prevailing religion, this revelation is quite understandable. I see. Needless to say, this establishes an alibi for your mother, and she has no involvement in your father's death. Very good. Dasnurdi aside, it's a relief to hear that she's no longer a suspect. Alright, what about Duchess Azaro? An alleged delivery of a confidential letter to King Valera by Lucida on the night of his passing. I see, go on. As is my duty, I was there the night overseeing your father's security. However, I temporarily left my post to attend to a personal matter, leaving one of my guardsmen in charge. When I returned, I witnessed the Duchess exiting your father's chambers in great haste. Well, come on now. What was she doing? That's what I was trying to discern. I attempted to discreetly follow her, but she managed to elude me when any vehicle sped her away. Was she doing things with my father like she's been doing with me? This woman is no good. No question, the guardsman on duty claimed Lucida is provided in with an order signed by your father. What for? Part is unclear. I suspect she may have been carrying a correspondence letter, but I cannot confirm it. When we searched your father's chambers, we saw no such letter. I don't know, I have a hard time wrapping my head around Lucida doing something so drastic. Good heavens, this is deeply troubling. Although she could be hiding, you know, your logic might not be so crazy. After all, I suspected that came into the throne. House Zara was out for blood. It seems like you're a lot of speculation, no sustenance. If you ask me, I'm honestly disappointed this is all you can be on Lucida. From everything I know, she doesn't seem like the type, well, she seems like the type to maybe do things with him, but not, you know, kill him. I wonder what she could be hiding. We should investigate further, discreetly, meticulously. Okay, now how about Wise Man? The Wise Man. He may have had a motive to act against King Valera. He made frequent visits to the king's private chambers, and on the night of his death, Sal was present. You're speaking of one of the most highly respected men in this kingdom. Be careful. It's no secret that your father's hostility towards minority religions drew condemnation from various quarters. The Grand Wiseman was among them, but you... Huh? Huh? But I thought you were in favor of blocking off religious minorities from coming to the religious sites. That doesn't make any sense to me. What? The underlying notion being here is that the king could have readily singled out one religion would stop him from doing no to another. What, do you have any concrete evidence? Not yet, but I'm confident that conducting further investigations will lead conclusive information about him. Come to a decision. Obviously, Hugo was our primary suspect. Keep looking at Lucida. I hate to say, but keep looking into Sal. Can't I just say all of them? Because there's not... there's not a whole lot here. There really isn't a whole lot here. Lucida, I don't think would do it. Hugo, I don't think would do it. Sal, I don't think would really do it. I don't fucking know what to tell you. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Should investigate everybody. RNC hopes to secure Monteclar support. I feel like it shouldn't really be too difficult. Like, we could just rig the elections. Like, it's just fake. Like, the whole thing's fake anyway. House Suzerain calls for opposition vote. Oh, you fucking bricks. Former oil workers organized for RPP. Oh, no. That's not good. Opposition figures lodge complaints against Rizia Radio. Ah, okay, so they're complaining that they don't get enough airtime, basically. Low military equipment stockpile. Okay. Read the report. Smooth election process. The Electoral Commission has put out a call for volunteers. Very well. And, oh, a call from Chancellor Hagel. Hello, Chancellor Hagel. In the middle of the night, I was woken by a knock on my bedroom door. Heard Pablo's voice in the hallway. Sorry, Ramos, but there's apparently an urgent call from you downstairs. Alright, come in and help get me dressed. He opened the door and briskly made his way over to the armoire. How are you, Pablo? I'm well, Your Majesty. Any palace intrigue I need to know about? Maybe murder suspects? Only the usual nonsense. Everyone's still speculating about Her Highness's marriage prospects. He pulled a deep blue silk robe out of the armoire. I stood in front of him as he drooped it over my shoulders. Once I was dressed, he walked through the palace corridors until we reached my study. An attendant stood ready with a blue phone. He informed me that Chancellor Emmerich Hagel was on the line. Pick it up. Picked up the phone. You'd better have a reason to call me. Didn't expect to hear from you this soon. Or good evening. Let's just say good evening. Speak friendly. As much as we can be. Hello, Mr. Torres. I'm truly sorry to disturb you this hour, but we have unfinished business. Well, you must be talking about the ITC nationalization plan. Of course, needless to say, I was pleased that you voted the way you did. In fact, your vote comes with a new chance of cooperation. Oh, the Democratic Republic of Volgasland would deem to cooperate with the monarchy. You've changed my mind. I do not wish to cooperate with the... whatever the heck they're called. I have a reason for choosing nationalization. Cooperate with Volgasland was none of them. Let's leave the door open for cooperation. Now, normally, but in this instance, there is one point we can agree on. The Republic of Lesbia does not belong in the Mordian International Trade Zone. Oh, come now. If you don't have them, then you guys run the show. I'm not that stupid. You should know that as a member of Grace, Rizia is obliged to stay uninvolved. The way Rumberg was involved in the Wayland Civil War. There was no uninvolved, Mr. Torres. Either you're with us or you're against us. I voted for nationalization. That alone would prove where my values lie. Let's go with it. It's obviously not true, but if we can get something out of him for lying like that, let's do it. Yes, that alone was more than I expected. Allow me to explain what I want, and we can discuss your supposed impartiality. I know that Prime Minister Sultana is meeting individually with you and Prime Minister Alvarez to come up with a nationalization plan for the ITZ. Must be able to do everything in its power to keep the operations running exactly as before. Yes, you, King Ramus, will not let that come to pass. Not let that happen. I don't know if I can. Lesbia has a lot to offer Morella. You have Prime Minister Sultana's ears. Why don't you try and convince her? It's easy as planning on making sure Lesbia got the short end of the scepter anyway. Cannot order me around. Why don't you try and convince her? The relationship with Morella is still young and fragile. Do not want to be accused of overreach. Ah. Rizia, on the other hand, is Morella's direct neighbor and longtime ally. It's only natural you request a favorable deal. At the end of the day, I'm only asking Rizia to ask in its best interest. Yes, we need to outbid them. Could Valka's land offer us if I make this happen? Perfectly rational question, Mr. Torres. Rizia's military weakness is no secret to international circles. Make sure Lesbia ends up with nothing, and Valka's land will make sure your navy provide your navy with a significant upgrade. Tempting. I don't need to convince you of Valka's land's dominion over the sea. Our warships and submarines are second to none. If I'm going to anger Lesbia even further than I have already, it wouldn't hurt to have a stronger navy. Regardless, I'm worried that accepting the Republic's military assistance will send the wrong signal internationally. This is very true. It's almost as if you want to help Rizia retake Palace. And indeed they do, because they know they can work with me much easier than they can with Palace or Lesbia. I am worried about what kind of signals it'll send. What if the ITC nationalization already aligns you with Valka's land? We might as well take it. I don't know. I don't believe that at all. You can expect to deliver new vessels and equipment as soon as the nationalization agreement is finalized. Can I count on your cooperation or not? Well, I'm going to be doing that anyway. Very well. Even though I think Rumberg is going to be pissed off. And incidentally, you can count on Valka's land supporting your current arbitration in case it gets Palace. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We're screwing over Lesbia. We're going to screw over Palace. We're going to screw over Lesbia 3 and 4 times over. Oh, yes. Palace, you are done for. Because once we have their vote, I believe that would make, because we have Rumberg presumably still on our side. Wayland, we have Lesbia, or not Lesbia, Valka's land. And probably we'll have Morella and those people, the other communist people. And we may have Rizia potentially as well. They seem kind of neutral, but they might be on our side. So we're going to be doing pretty good. Although no, Rizia is definitely going to be against us now that we're taking action against the Bloods, but regardless. Get my gratitude for that, good sir. I believe Rizia deserves it, but more importantly, the AN must respect sovereignty of territory of islands. Good night, your majesty. Good night, Mr. Hagel. Hang up. Nice. Very nice. What's this? Valka's land supports Rizia's arbitration claim. Yes. Should the AN rule in Palace's favor, the fishing and gas rights around Valka's land's own islands may be in danger. Yes, it's very true. They're obviously a maritime country. I don't think... Let me see on the map here. Where's Valka's land? Here's Valka's land. So you can see why they would feel concerned about all of that. Obviously, they don't want to be in a situation where their claims are not properly respected. Ode to Torres film ramps up productions. The RNC decided to make a movie. That's nice. Early voting starts. I see. Votes won't be announced until the rest of the country is voted. Okay. Fuck you. Palace, you suck. Morella invites MITZ members to discuss nationalization, and here we go. Let's negotiate this well, and we'll be able to screw Lesbia out of everything. I've been invited to Cavite, the capital of Morella, for a meeting with the Prime Minister Alma Sultana. Our plan was to discuss how to proceed with nationalization of Meftium International Trade Zone. My security detail and I exited our motorcade outside the gates of the People's Gardens, Cavite's largest park. And they're very communist. It used to be known as the Imperial Gardens, and well, there you go. When Morella reconquered Cavite in 1923, the vast green area was open to the public. The early 20s were filled with conflict, is basically what I'm seeming to get here. Once immaculately landscaped with imported Valka's trees and flowers, their park was replanted with native Morellan flora and was allowed to grow wild. Children played hide and seek in the tall grasses and raced each other up the conical hills in the center. Alma Sultana greeted me inside the gates and accompanied by only a small security retinue. Welcome back to Morella, Mr. Torres. Good to see you again, Prime Minister. Quite a lovely park here. Looks like the place could use a good groundskeeper. Let's just say it's nice to see you again. And you, Mr. Torres. We ended up on a promising note the last time we saw each other. I hope we can continue that today. She motioned me to follow her. A barely marked path led into dense bamboo grove. We walked, shadowed by our guards. This is all planted after the Vogs left. Amazing how fast it grows. As we kept walking, I noticed the corner of a wooden object peeking out from behind the stalks. Take a closer look. I stopped and pushed the stalks aside. Appeared to be a memorial plaque carved in traditional Volgish style. It was a square-jawed man, Axel Reinhardt's exact double, triumphantly hoisting his sword atop the park's central hill. An inscription below read it, in commemoration for the brave deeds of Otto Reinhardt, Viceroy of Palace and loyal servant to the Valgos Empire. Thinking of Kvet, our punishments for siding with the wrong house in your war of succession. Merlin went up against House Torres. What do you think would happen? Surprised you haven't gotten rid of this? Why do you keep around the reminders of the Valgos occupation? Valgos' empire used our family's conflict as an excuse for a land grab, although countries lost territory. What a tragedy. Our houses should have found a peaceful compromise instead of dragging other countries into battle. We lost the palace because of them. It was their fault. We lost one of the most important cities and our access to the Antician. There is no comparison. Thankfully, we were able to get it back after the revolution. It is disgusting how the Reinhardt family has managed to stay in power all these years. Her eyebrow arched. Like the Torres family, you mean? That's different. My family is chosen by God to rule. Do not question the legitimacy of our family's reign, Madam Prime Minister. I walked right into that one. Not the same. Palace never rightfully belonged to the Reinhardts to begin with. Can a nation belong to anyone? Believe me, there is no lost love between Morella and the Reinhardts, but we're happy to let them keep their little piece of land, as long as they stay there. And into the path we came to a cylindrical building that looked strikingly different from anything else in the park. A traditional Morellan tea house, historically a place for exchange and a refuge from prying eyes. We had a seat inside as our guards kept watch outdoors. The low-ceilinged room was decorated wall-to-wall in colorful woven fabrics. In its center, a smoke rose from a roaring fire pit up through the hole in the middle of the ceiling. A waiter came with a tray of sukkar, Morellan tea biscuits. Oh, they look wonderful. I love a biscuit. Yeah, of course. Even though I'm probably going to get poisoned. The waiter placed a pair of intricately ornamented tea glasses in front of us and filled them up. We drank. The tea was delicious. I need to tell you how grateful I am for your kingdom's vote. Not so fast. The nationalization won't happen unless we're coming with the final proposal that Rizia is happy with. It was a sacrifice, but I was willing to make it to get lesbian Caucasian puppet masters out of the ITZ. Don't get me wrong, Miss Sultan, I will not walk away with nothing. For the good well-being of the workers, no, I'm not going to say that. It was a sacrifice, but I was willing to make it to get Lesbia and the Arcasian puppet masters out of the ITZ. Her brow wrinkled. If that were the reason for your vote, I may have to disappoint you. I want the final agreement to be favorable for all Lesbia included. Well, I will not be satisfied with any agreement in which Lesbia gets more than Rizia. You may give up trying to court Lesbia's favor. Alvarez isn't willing to budge. I have a vague hunch that you won't be able to please Vagosland and Lesbia at the same time. Doesn't matter whether everyone likes it. What matters is whether Borella gets the justice it deserves. No. Should we say that you should give up on trying to court Lesbia's favor, or that Lesbia and Vagosland can't be pleased at the same time? Which should we do here? I think you're not going to be able to please both of them at the same time, you know. She smiled wryly. I can try. Oh, for the love of God, she's insane. As I said during the board meeting, my proposal involves the purchase of Rizia, Lesbia, and Vagosland's ITC assets by a newly formed subsidiary of Morella's state-owned mining company. Each company would have the option of using money from that sale to buy out 20% of the stake of that company. With Vagosland opting out, Morella would retain 60% ownership of the ITZ at a minimum. Even the 20% share of the ITZ, the regulations you're imposing would devastate our economy. Looks like you and Hegel have given a lot of thought. Doesn't selling shares of the ITC back to us defeat the point of nationalization? You're opposing us would devastate our economy. So I'm prepared to offer additional incentives, material or otherwise. She drained her glass and pushed her teacup aside. Tell me, Mr. Torres, what is it that Rizia wants from Morella? Rizia wants to be Morella's sole energy supplier. It would be purchase oil or natural gas from us at a price that we determine. No, that's not going to happen. Aware of our present difficulties with the Zeal region, we'd ask you to aid and take it back from Wayland. We're involved in an arbitration dispute over the Oris gas fields. You'd like your public support in the matter. What do you think of a Morellan-built aircraft? I would like for your support, but I was also hoping to buy. Let's keep the mullet over. Oh my word. You won't give us any support? I'll just cancel this thing. I don't care, lady. On the other hand, it would certainly rather that field end up in Rizian and Palsian hands. I'll consider what you're asking. Thank you. Now, would you be willing? I don't think 3 is enough necessarily. I have +3 energy. I don't know if it's going to be enough to be the sole energy supplier. Let's try it. She looks me in the eye. You're sure that you still have a steady supply of energy to sell us? Yes, even if it doesn't. Oil deal whaling is going through. We'll be able to build a pipeline straight to Morella soon. Of course, we will expect Rizia will win the Oris cast-filled arbitration case. Understood. And Lesbia has contacted us regarding a very similar arrangement. But if you're sure Rizia will be able to deliver a steady supply of Morella, we'd be happy to go with you instead. I'm a king who delivers on his promise. Of course. Would you be willing to give us some aircraft? That can be arranged, not for free, but we'll give you a good price. Okay, that's fair. Nothing you need to worry about, that's for certain. We are direct neighbors. If you had big plans involving military, I'd appreciate knowing about them. But suit yourself. What are the wishes? That's it. I'm not going to ask you for support for zeal. That depends, Mr. Zoras. Planning on meeting a limited number of your demands in addition to offering you 20% of shares in the ITZ, but if you forgo that entire share entirely, Volgos Land, this will gladly make it worth your while. What if I want to buy Lesbia's? Giving your kingdom a 40% stake in the restructured MITZ? In that case, Mr. Torres, Morellis will be country to be making the country making. In that case, Morella will be the country making the demands. Yes, quite. Tell me, does Rizia wish to purchase a share in the nationalized MITZ or not? No, my kingdom cannot accept a share. No share. We're not going to make any demands. Guess we'll accept your offer of 20% share in restructured free trade zone. Let's talk about what we'd have to do to buy Lesbia's share. She nodded. I'll humor you, Mr. Torres. First of all, we're still interested in energy with Rizia, but when we have more control of the terms and prices, barring that, we'd ask you to contribute money to the rehabilitation of the Orfield watershed, or we require assistance dealing with Doridians attempting to infiltrate our borders. Well, we are already basically having to deal with them. Infiltrate? All they're trying to do is reach the same sanctuaries doing is just separate, and by dealing with, you mean killing? Well, we've already pissed off the Bloods, so let's do it. Most of the Doridians entering Morella are trying to migrate to Rizia, so this is your problem as much as it is ours. Asmal refuses to talk to me. Can you guess why? Because you're a woman? Exactly. The Supreme Wiseman refuses to negotiate with the female leaders. Might have a hunch you will respect a king and fellow Rorikist. I can try my best, but I doubt he will be able to get through to him. Help would be appreciated, but if you're willing to fulfill even one or two of the conditions I mentioned, I would let this go. I still want Rizia to have Lesbia's share. Definitely. She narrowed her eyes. You're as cutthroat as lesbians in your own way. I can't decide whether I admire it or not. The details will have to be worked out with the help of my ministers and your counselors. This is too formal an arrangement to be signed over tea, I'm afraid. Very well. I hope I can count on your support, should the need arise. Let's see how the plan develops first, that's fair. Feel free to take a biscuit for your trip home. Thank you for the offer, but I'm very full. Just say yes, of course. We need to save up our money. RPP closes Bronaz. I did give as much money as I could to the RNC. So hopefully this works out. It might not, but we'll have to see. So news. RNC campaign closing event turnout outshines RPP. Oh yeah. Here you go. We should be doing good here. Hydroelectric dam, the military equipment factory. Slowly but surely. Okay. Now, on the return flight from Morella, I took my first class seat in the plane that had been chartered from a return flight from Morella. It struck me how much more comfortable this jet was than the ones we had in Rizia. Looking outside the window, I could see Argno in the mountains. I see. It's a town. Future relationship with Morella? And the MITZ is in my head. I took a look at the papers in front of me. Let's see, one budget for the pipeline. We can do the energy agreement, which is one budget for the pipeline, and 3 energy per turn, plus 2 budget per turn. So it would be plus 1 budget per turn, and we'd be breaking even on energy with 0. That's a toughie, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be able to get a deal with Rizia, though. That's the issue. Because he is basically a terrorist. I can't really afford to backstab. Okay, let's go with that. Very well. Dangerous, but would be worthwhile. We'll have to be careful. What's this? Kingdom of... Oh, okay. Lena's wedding ring, huh? What's dress on? Oh god, there's more. Not long after my return from Morella, Elena and Lorento requested a meeting with me. The administration sent feedback following the MITZ negotiations. The future of the trade zone now hung in the balance. You convened in the council chambers. My counselor greeted me with his smiles on their faces. Your Majesty, I hope you were rested from the trip. King doesn't need sleep. He spends every possible moment caring for the people. I do admire your dedication to your people, but you must remember to care for yourself as well. Remember the 20s, Lorento? We worked for weeks at a time, hopped up on coffee and Algardi and amphetamines. Whoa. Man, that's a party. I hear there's stronger stuff coming in from Wayland these days. I'm too old for it now myself. Anyways. Well, we are importing it now, right? The Wayland Foreign Ministry has completed their review of our draft proposal for the nationalized MITZ. Unfortunately, they find our offer insufficient. It seems so. It's no small favor we're asking. Any Rizia shares the MITZ at the expense of Lesbia is a huge risk. You would think Mrs. Sultana would be excited at the prospect, but for all her talk, she's intimidated by her neighbor as anyone else. As for Morella's remaining demands, the lack of resources to pay for the pollution rehabilitation Mrs. Sultana prepared for. 30 meters does not approve of our treatment of Gull contest in Rizia. Trying to convince him that anything will be an uphill battle. But it's your decision, Your Majesty. Should we make additional concessions or agree on another share agreement? I can make more concessions because we're on this path. I will speak to him as well. And an additional 1 energy. Bruh. How am I going to make this? I guess I could purchase... Oh, it would be 1 per turn. So if I purchased 3... I think it could work financially. It's just going to be tight until the hydroelectric dam comes into play. Really? I wish we could be there to see that bastard's face. Lorento looked nervously at Lena. Come off it. Lorento, Rizia, and Lesbia were never going to be on the same side. I suppose not. Well, we have you here. A word on Palace. Nodded Elena. Yeah, right, yes. The arguments are still being presented in our arbitration case. Of course, Lespia's support of Palace counts for a lot, but we've seen a number of statements in our favor from neighbors and other AN members. Romberg, the rest of Grace, of course, and surprisingly, Volgasland. People come through in a hinge, Ms. Warner. Volgasland's only supporting us out of self-interest. If Palace wins, its own island's economic shares will be in danger. Still, their backing is extremely valuable. If our agreement with Morella proceeds as planned, we may earn their support. Though our neighbor has little clout in the AN on his own. President Smolnak was serious about wanting to renew our ties between our two countries. You will speak in our favor. As for Rizia, it appears highly unlikely the committee will be hearing from the Supreme Wise Man. Yes. Anything else we can do? At this point, there's not much we can do but wait for the results. You've gone long past our allotted time. Why don't we call it for a day? An excellent suggestion. Very well. This is gonna hurt. Yeah, it's bad. Bad. Okay, so this is a trade deal. Trade deal with Morella. Okay, it's not gonna say, but... Half full military equipment stockpile. Okay, so we're filling our stuff back up. 2 pieces of news. Rizia and Morella relations improve. And Rizia and Morella agree on pollution reparations. Oh boy, what fun. Construction begins in the Rizia Morella energy pipeline. The rehabilitation begins in earnest. And Sultana promises MITZ immigration agreement support. Okay, so the pipeline is going to take time to construct. So we still have time to build up our energy stockpile, I believe. Because we would probably have enough between then and the hydroelectric dam coming into operation that would allow us to offset that. Very well. Good. Good. Because we have, right now, hydroelectric dam still has 4 turns. And that still has, like, 3 turns. I believe. They sent naval aid. Aha. Very nice. You don't have enough people. Can I not? I can't do that? Okay. That's a shame. But we can build more military ships, so I'll try and do that as soon as I can. Sultan Rizian citizen by Sodas tourists. Bring the Sodas tourists in for justice. Or should we send the tourists back to Swordland? Public outcry demands justice. I know Swordland's not going to like that, but... Neutral? Neutral? Very well. Damn. Visit the gas fields. We have 1 piece of news here. What's this? Rizia chooses justice over diplomacy in Valancourt incident. Yeah. Not the best situation. I invited Vina on a yacht trip from Topaz out to view the Esquire gas field. God, these names. I had visited since its expansion had been completed, and it had been a long time since my daughter and I had talked. The Riziana had anchored a few meters offshore, and I stood at the aft deck waiting for Vina's arrival. Claiming she was tired from being hounded by the press she'd taken, she asked for a dinghy incognito from the nearby port. As the small craft pulled alongside, I realized my daughter wasn't alone. Of course, she secured the boat and climbed out to join me on the deck, followed by Manus Sazon, the leader of the reformers. Hello, Father. Yes, greetings, Your Majesty. Can I throw him into the water? Relax, Mr. Sazon. I know coming here wasn't your idea. He broke into a smile. Daughter's a hard woman to say no to, but you know more than I do. I wanted a chance for the 3 of us to speak in private, out of the way of the press. I don't like this, but seeing as Mr. Sazon came all this way, I'll indulge you both. I really want to... Any way I can stop this, I want to stop this. As we ascended to the upper deck, I noted Riziana's shabby state of repairs. The paint was peeling in place, and a few of the fixtures were rusted. It's about time that I had my ship restored. The country shouldn't have to pay for the upkeep of the king's luxury Vina, I will disinherit you, my friend. Ah, well, the king sees utility maintaining such a craft, I would not dare oppose him. We settled around the table on the upper deck. A server came around in the orange juice and light refreshments. I looked around. We were surrounded by open ocean. The gas field yet to come into view. So, Father, Majesty, He looked at each other and laughed. Spit it out, you idiots. Manus nodded at my daughter. Well, Father. After a visit to Salebe, which is how I assume you pronounce it, I made the bold step of asking his postal address. Oh my word, you've done this. You did this. It's not him. He was innocent in this. You've done this. I confess I withheld my feelings at first, fearing reprisal from the king, yet the more we spoke and wrote, the more I realized what a fool I'd be to walk away from such a beautiful, inspiring woman. Ugh. We both know better than the rush into marriage, but it is our hope that it will give you your blessing to our relationship. No. Venus struggled to remain calm. And why not? Because a palace. Because any children of this union reduces will continue the last name Sazon, Taurus dynasty will be destroyed. That isn't guaranteed to happen. Her voice assumed a patient tone. If there are any children, their last names can be changed by royal decree. House Taurus remain on the throne. My family won't like that, but if I must sacrifice my... Your father shot me in the leg. He shot me. A man can't pass on his names to his heirs like an amoeba, Mr. Sezon. And the woman father, what does it make us? I don't put much stock in names, Your Majesty. It's my hope that my legacy will live on, even if my name doesn't. I know princesses don't always get to choose their partners, but father, he makes me the happiest I've been since mother died. Oh God. It's politically advantageous for Vina to remain single for the time being. Okay, it gives them the hope of something else, and maybe at later date I'll be okay with it, but this is fucked. Lips quivered. That's what I am to you, a bargaining chip? Feel free to see each other in secret, but cannot risk angering Rizias of the houses. Please, Vina, if you love your father in this country, you'll understand you're not a bargaining chip. You're a supremely intelligent young woman, which is why you'll realize that making this relationship public right now will jeopardize my reign in the present and yours in the future. Indeed. You need to think about it for a second. Alright, father, I understand. My shoulders slumped. Manus made an attempt to appear cheerful. The time will come, my love. If not now, then someday. Yeah, maybe in a different life, yeah? Let us view the majestic gas extraction capabilities of the Kingdom of Rizia. Weren't you 6 and only wanted to eat cabbage for a week? Now that baby's up and running, we'll have more gas than that. I'll head on the dinghy before we reach port. Wouldn't want anyone getting any wrong idea. And I'm collaborating with the competition? Heaven forbid. They're allowing the son of my kidnapper to court my daughter? Yes. Genius. That would paint me in a weak light. The King of Rizia is engaged in a torrid affair with a man half his age? No, that'd be dreadful. Nina rolled her eyes. Nobody was in danger of thinking that, father. Shouldn't look at Manus' eyes. This isn't over, I know it. Yeah, of course not. Very well. Pining over a man. It's not the Vina I know. Nor the Vina I know, but what can I do? We stood there for a while, watched the little boat as it disappeared towards the shore. Can I shoot him? Can we have the security services shoot him? The Rizian death squad whiz him to death. Okay, so we can either choose to begin restoration or a scrap and sell. I'll begin restoration since we get a lot more money than we do authority. Rufus Cragg's Royal Gossip. Which color will the king paint his boat? Great, very exciting. On Shores of Gold. Very nice. Well. Okay, so we're still making 2 per turn. We've got some money now, and we've got some more authority. Okay, good. Okay. So we do need to do something about conscription age. We can't do that. 3 authority. Let's increase the duration. That might fuck with their economy. 3 budget. Oof. That is rough. Global media campaign proposal. Orchestrated media influence to the world from Kroot. Oh? Aims to prove and positively transform Rizia's international perception, leveraging its location amidst the world's embassies and influential lobbies. I'm not sure if it's really useful. We could do mid-size. Oh gosh. Partially self-sufficient economy. Okay, our tourism fell. Because of that case. We use the economic base, we use a tail with partial self-sufficiency. Very good. Our airbase and the port and shipyard as well. Very good. We have vibrant drug trade node. Oh yeah. We all like a little bit of cocaine now and then. Average size Rizian fleet, huh? Okay. Millions of Rizians head to the poles. Rizian to the pole. Oh yeah. Polar transportation's on time performance downgraded. We have missed the train. I see, so our budget is going down. Public transportation needs to be worked on pretty significantly. Very well. What can we do for the transportation? Public rail, public sea. They really don't like it too much, huh? 1 budget per turn down, 3 budget, 2 authority. Very well. They should help with that, maybe. Crown revolutionizing rail transit, new national ticket created. Hopefully that will assist with our transportation woes. Malenthine, the communists. Disperse the protesters, allow the protesters, promise better protection for workers. No, F off. Of course they're gonna be angry. The workers announced a solidarity strike. Oh, great. Strike dispersed. Very well. A couple different things here. What is this? Public rail subsidies. Situations. Overcrowded public transportation. We'll deal with that soon. King sends strong message to troublemakers. Very well.